Namaskaram, my dear friends. I am back again. I know it's been a while and finally I'm back. There's a lot of transition going on and I finally found a spot where I could record without having to be worried about people hearing me, without having to be worried about people asking what I'm doing because I'm not at home. I'm in my workplace. I'm doing this after hours, okay? So it's okay. Today I'm going to talk about my experience during the Linga Bhairavi Devi consecration in III. As Sadhguru would put it, the consecration of American Devi. Let's talk about the ashram. The ashram has been the busiest I've ever seen it, like ever. To be fair, I've only visited like less than 10 times in the ashram, and this had the most people ever. I think more or less it's like 4,000 people that were there during the duration of the consecration. However, volunteers were really on point, from the receiving to the discharging. And it's not like a hospital, but the receiving party where all the volunteers were there, very happy to greet us at the parking spot. And it was even raining and it was a little cold, but they were there, eager to help, with directions that were clear, strict with a purpose. And the attendees, they were like, oh my God, people from different walks of life, from different countries, from China, from the UK. People flew from India to III just to witness the consecration of Devi. Oh my God. And with just the people talking, there's a lot of languages being spoken. Well, in the ashram, there was Chinese, there was Spanish. I think there was Russian. And of course, all the dialects from India. And Americans from different states flew all over just to witness this happening. It was indeed a wonderful moment. People come together for the purpose of seeing Devi come alive. And the ashram setup was so beautiful. It was so beautiful because the facilities are not built yet to accommodate that much people. So there were a lot of tents that were stood up. Basically, it was for dining. I think one of the major tents were like mostly for dining. Some other tents were to cover attendees so they're able to sit in front of the abode. Because if you guys have been to III, the abode of Adi Yogi, they call it the abode of yoga. His temple goes down and then there's like brick pavement. The brick pavement go all the way back. However, there's no cover, so they had to set up tent to cover that brick pavement so more attendees can like sit in front of the abode where Linga Bhairavi would be. Aside from the tents, there were a lot of mobile luxury bathrooms. It's so interesting they called it luxury bathrooms. I haven't been to one, but they were like lined up, maybe 10. And I've never seen a line because there were just that much, enough for everyone when they need it. And I think it's good too because if you really need to go, you don't want a long line. And I think they set it up that way because the breaks were only enough for everyone to be accommodated, to maybe have something warm to drink, walk a little bit, and just go to the bathroom and come back for the next session. I think that's why there were a lot of bathrooms set up. When I say bathroom, I meant really toilet. There were also actually shower stalls that were set up. I've not been to any one of them. I know it was installed the ground floor of the new apartments. And then there was also an announcement that there was a water shortage, though I didn't feel it. And it was like a very short problem and the issue was actually addressed right away. So for me, I didn't feel any water shortage. And it was really incredible how everyone really worked together. Issues come up left and right, but everyone, all the volunteers were so eager to help out in solving any concern, any problem, any issue. And just the dedication and the devotion, the passion, the compassion they have for everyone just to make this program, that event, a momentous one. Also, because of the seating, there were some categories where on-campus housing was not provided just because on-campus housing was not available. So there were a lot of attendees that arranged for a place for them to stay the night elsewhere outside the ashram. And the sessions lasted like really long. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, almost all the sessions actually were really long, that it ended close to midnight and people have to get dinner and people had to mingle, people had to arrange a ride to go to the place they would stay the night. And just the dedication of the attendees having to Uber, find a ride or do Lyft, go to their quarters just rest a bit and come back the next day ready to receive all the grace there is available. The dedication is just so wonderful to see. And I really thought they wouldn't come the next morning. What I mean to say is, the program is set up to start in the afternoon, but in the morning there's like morning sadhana that started at 8:20 in Mahima. And I really thought, okay, the programs have lasted really long. Maybe a lot of the attendees will just do virtual sadhana and do the sadhana at home or, where they stayed. But oh my gosh, every time I would go there, which I'm almost always running just in time for the sadhana session to start, it's still jam-packed. Like Mahima's always jam-packed. There are a lot of attendees that's doing their sadhana even outside of Mahima, but it's always so full. Again, the witnessing of the dedication and the compassion. People having to move forward just to give space and give way to those people who want to enter Mahima so they could do their sadhana inside the hall is so amazing. So amazing to see. And I really thought there wouldn't be a lot showing up for sadhana, but they still showed up despite the inconvenience of having to drive far and come back for the sake of sadhana. The food was actually good. Of course, almost all of the meals that were served tasted really good. I think they set it up too where they serve mostly gruels, like porridges, some starch and fruits. So we're not really full during the sessions of the consecration. And we ate twice a day. Well, there were snacks. So there were snacks first thing in the morning, and then lunch happened from like either 11 or 12 up to 2, and then the session would start at 4 all the way until it ends. And when it ends like 9, 10, maybe 11, then dinner would be served after the session. And when the consecration culminated, it was such a feast. There was a lot of food variety. There was even some sweets. Of course, the salads and fruits. They have wonderful roti. But it was such an amazing feast at the end of the consecration. I just love every bit of it, you guys. I love every bit of it. I'm so happy I went. But anyways, after food, the consecration. Let me talk about the consecration. I think it's already expected that when you attend an Isha program, especially those programs where there's a higher pitch and intensity of energy that's being transmitted, like people go crazy, and that's the normal. Like people go crazy, people be yelling, people be screaming, people be moving around involuntarily. And it's so funny too, because one of the sessions we were doing our chanting, I had to pause a little bit and I wanted to listen to everybody because there was a lot of screaming and moving, a lot of sounds, noise, anything you can think of. And what was funny was, because when I was just listening, I took a pause and listened. It sounded like a soundtrack of a horror movie. Like really, it's so funny because when you watch a horror movie and when you hear all the screaming and horror sounds and like just undescribable, not so normal sounds, like I would be afraid. But at that moment, I was not afraid because I understood why that was happening. Because of the intensity and the high levels of energy being received by all of the participants. Like you can't help it. You really can't help it. You just scream, cry, shout, make weird animal noises. I heard like frogs, cats, some growling. Like it was intense. But anyways, so from my experience, after doing a lot of sadhana for a while now, I really noticed the left side of my body makes a lot of involuntary movement. And during the consecration, like my God, my left hand wouldn't stop moving. And then if I would control it, like my whole body would move instead. One time where it got so intense that my hand would just like be flinging around. Like, see, I can't even imitate it because it was so fast. I can't even do that fast motion, but my hand just really moved so fast. I used my right hand to actually hold onto my left hand just to like contain it because I didn't want to hit people because we were so close. Like it was so hard. I had to put a lot of force just to contain it, but then the movement would like go to my body and my body would move instead. And I would rather that because my body doesn't like really reach too far where I would hit people. But that was the feeling. A lot of involuntary movement for me. There were ones too where I just started singing. And I have never sang this way before. It sounded like a classical Indian singer. And it was like a very, very beautiful tune. It was a beautiful short tune. It seemed like a praise for Devi. And it went on for a while whilst my body was involuntarily moving. And of course, like just crying and crying and crying non-stop. I really don't know how to explain it because it's just really not logical. But despite all the chaos happening in my body that seemed chaotic in the outer sphere, my inside was so full of bliss, so ecstatic. It was such a wonderful feeling. Again, words will never be enough to explain how I felt during the consecration. And I'm really glad I went. I'm really glad I went. Very intense. And of course, with our Sadhguru, I was in the Agna sitting category, so I was in the Mahima. And you know, the Mahima is kind of a walk from where the consecration was happening. But despite how far I was from Sadhguru, I could never really explain how much Sadhguru does for all of us, how much Sadhguru does for me. And just by observing how he treated everybody in his actions, in his words, like, I was his beloved. Not even a moment of like close contact, close proximity. But I really, really, really feel the love, the compassion that Sadhguru has for me. I can feel it. I can feel it so much. Like how it melts my heart. Even just a few glimpses of him. And I was like even so many feet away. I couldn't even see. I can't see his pores. I can barely see his foot because there's a lot of people covering. I could barely see Sadhguru. I only had a few glimpses, but I feel all there is about him. I feel it in my heart, in my heart, in my heart. Even if it was just a few glimpses, his presence pervades. Oh, Sadhguruji. So yes, in conclusion, I would say I'm really, really fortunate to be able to attend the consecration of our dear feminine goddess, our American Devi, experiencing the beauty there is in it, in every angle, in the way they've done things, in the way people were. It was just so beautiful. It's more than just beauty that you can see, it's beauty that you can feel, you know? Like, my gosh, the epitome of beauty. Also wonderful to see friends, fellow meditators, fellow sadhakas. And the experience was just an overflowing, pouring out of grace, which truly is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And I am so grateful that I was able to take part. Namaskaram. Oh yes, and don't forget guys, if you do visit Triple I, please don't forget to do the hike, see the bluffs and see the waterfalls. My gosh, it was all so soaking in. I was soaking in a lot of the energy, a lot of the grace that was around. It was wonderful, magnificent, beautiful. But yes, so yes, if there is a chance that you guys can attend a consecration, I really do recommend it. It's not just wonderful to see friends and Sadhguru, but the amalgamation of everything that's going around and the heightened levels of energy, my gosh, once in a lifetime experience. And I do recommend. Namaskaram. So until next time, bye!